A lot of us have walked past the beautiful Norwegian lady statue standing at 25th Street, right on our boardwalk. It's a distinct maritime monument, and that Norwegian lady marks a memorial to a shipwreck, the wreck of the Dictator. It's well known and well told story about what happened to the ship on our shore. I'll just take a minute and show you what happened to this ship before it got to Virginia Beach. I'm William Hazel. I'm Executive Director of the Virginia Beach Surf and Rescue Museum, and we're showing you the wreck of the Dictator as this episode of our virtual tour series at this cool museum. Thanks again to Jessica Dressen, who's running the camera for us. So this Norwegian bark, it was a cargo ship. Like many of the ships going up and down the coast, this Norwegian bark, about 300 feet long, about 200 feet long, is doing a very simple thing. It's moving cargo. And the vessel leaves its port where it picks up its cargo, which is yellow pine. And that was in Pensacola, Florida. And it does this in early March. March 3rd, it leaves Pensacola, Florida. Its goal is to go all the way to England. This ship's going to sail all the way to England. In the 1890s, that journey could have taken a month. It could have taken 90 days if it was particularly slow. So they're starting the long journey to England. You hugged the shore to stay close to help back in the day. They're at sea for a week. It's March 12th when they're rounding the Florida Keys, and they run into a really bad storm. And that's the first the ship is damaged in that particular storm. Unfortunately, back in the day, without modern radar, without weather prediction, the Dictator crew doesn't realize it's kind of following that low pressure. And as it continues around Florida and passes by the Grand Bahamas on March 19th, another week later, it gets hit with more low pressure and goes through another massive storm. They've already been experiencing storms for 2 weeks. On March 23rd, Dictator was fairly close to Bermuda, and it encounters the low pressure that's through this area. And this time the hurricane force winds tear at the ship's masts and do a large amount of damage to the vessel, to the point where the crew feels unsafe. The captain and crew don't feel safe to journey all the way across the Atlantic to England. And that's when Captain Jørgen Jørgensen and his Norwegian crew, they make that decision to turn back towards the coast of the United States. He chooses the Chesapeake Bay. He chooses the shipyard in Norfolk, Virginia, to bring Dictator. He's going to sail Dictator into the shipyard and down into the Elizabeth to have his vessel repaired before they would even think about taking all that pine cargo all the way to England. And that, of course, as it starts to hug our coast, and he would have journeyed towards just a little bit south, almost towards where False Cape is, before he started to sail along the coastline so he could see the land and have his marks. That's when he's pounded in the nor'easter again here in Virginia Beach. The ship is already damaged. It's already weakened. And on that fateful day of the 23rd of March, on the 27th of March, after encountering the storm off of Bermuda and traveling back, on the 27th of March, that Easter weekend, Dictator slams into the sandbank here. It kind of wrecks in what we would call somewhere between 40th and 50th Street. And the ship runs aground and begins tearing itself apart in the shore. The lifesavers could easily see the shipwreck. It was only about 350 yards from the shore. So a lot of us know how bad that shipwreck was, the next part of the story, but we share this because many of us don't realize how much that ship had been through before it even wrecked on Virginia Beach.